Hi guys, so I'm back with a new video and let's talk about Vortex. So I sort of took a break, not intentionally. You might have not noticed it because I just posted a video like a week ago or something. But I was planning on doing this sooner. I just didn't get around to watching it, but I finally did, so I'm here to talk to you about Gaspar Noé's new film. I really like his approach to films, even though not all of his films are my favorites, but I really like what he does and how unconventional he is. Climax is one of my all-time favorite films. And yeah, if you remember, this one was pretty high on my most anticipated of the year. So yeah, before I get to it though, let me just apologize for the sound you might hear. Like there's the party outside and there's music playing, so you might hear some noises. Post that, let's get to the video. So, if you don't know what Vortex is about, it's a pretty simple premise. It's about an elderly couple and their struggles with getting old, like the diseases, and just what happens when you get old, and how their son deals with it as well. Um, it's pretty much that. The movie has an interesting cast. There's not a lot of people involved. As I said, it's a couple, an elderly couple, and their son. There's a few like minor characters here and there, but it's for the most part those three. It's interesting because the male part of the couple, the elderly couple, is played by Dario Argento, and you might know him for his films. So it's an interesting choice. But it also stars Françoise Lebrun. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, and Alex Lutz. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now let's get to my thoughts. So, as you can imagine, Gaspar Noé doesn't really do like light-hearted films. His films are pretty deep, and most of them deal with like drugs and violence, and yeah, they're like Climax definitely does, but from what I remember, Irreversible, it's pretty violent as well. So it likes to like get into some pretty deep and disturbing stuff, which sort of is the case here, but mainly this is pretty heartbreaking. It's one of his slowest films. This really takes some time to just lets you sink in everything that is going on and get into the characters, and just lets you really live in their world, which is not a happy place to live in. So yeah, in that aspect it certainly achieves what it wants to say and wants to make you feel. Like this is not a happy film. It wants you to show the struggles of being old, of getting old. And the thing is, you do know what happens, or you have like an idea, but it's really jarring to see it in a movie, because yeah, you don't really see this type of film, like this type of story in films. The closest I could tell you this is the film The Father, which is pretty heartbreaking as well. It's way more fast-paced. This one is classic Gaspar Noé, like really artistic, and but it's slow, which doesn't really happen in his other films. Most of his films have a lot going on, but this one just really takes its time. And because of that, you do feel the runtime. I do think this is a little bit too long. I get it, as I said, you need to, just soak in everything, but sometimes it gets a little bit boring and not really repetitive, but you know what's going to happen. You just know that this is going like downhill. There's no like way this is going to end in a happy note. So it gets more and more depressing as the film goes on. So there's that. Something that really helps to like make this film really believable, and just you really don't feel like you're watching a film. You feel like you're watching these people's lives. Like, you don't feel like they are characters. They look and feel and just act like real people. So that it's all due to the performances. I think everyone is great. As I said, I never felt like I was watching a film. I felt like I was watching some home videos, and that also like gives the film like a cozy vibe. It's really weird because at the same time it looks cozy and it's quiet, but it deals with some heavy topics and it's not a happy film, as I said. So it's interesting. That's also due to the cinematography. Again, as I've mentioned before, it's classic Gaspar Noé, really artistic, just a bit more toned down than his usual movies. But I think this is his most artistic film, actually. It has all of those like different aspects that just make this like a really like art house film. For example, it starts with the end credits. So I like those touches. There's just one thing that I'm not a big fan when it comes to his stylization, which is his cuts. There's like a split second of a black screen, and I'm not really a big fan of that. But that's just personal preference. I still like how he approaches filmmaking and just the fact that he does something different. So in the end, I think this is a film for movie lovers, people who like art house films and who are okay with living in a like depressing world for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So if you feel like doing that, I recommend it. But just be warned of the slow burn, sort of like the slow moving story, and just the fact that it's not a happy story. So and post that, let's get to my scores. So overall, I give the film a 3 out of 5. I was expecting more, but at the same time it was what I was expecting. I just feel like it's a bit too long. It's somewhat repetitive. There's a few things here and there that I'm not really a big fan of, like in terms of the stylization. But it's a different film. Cinematography, I also give it a 3 out of 5. As I said, I'm not a big fan of that like black screen when it cuts to a different angle. But I really enjoy like the score. There's a beautiful song right in the beginning of the film that I really enjoyed. And originality, again, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's original in the way that it is presented, but I don't think that this is a story that we haven't seen before. As I said, this is somewhat similar to The Father, and it's just something that we know happened. It's not super original, but it's an experience. So guys, these are my thoughts on Vortex. I don't think a lot of people have seen this one yet. It was in the Cannes Film Festival last year, so if you managed to watch it back then, or because of something else, like it is already out in your country. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite Gaspar Noé film. As I said, I really like Climax, but there's definitely people out there that like any of his other films. Like there's definitely people that like Irreversible. It's not my favorite film of his, but it's different and it's pretty controversial, which I sort of enjoy. So yeah, let me know in the comments what is your favorite film of his. And yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!